Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Little Dynamite Knits podcast. My name is Sarah and I live outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania with my husband Brent and our three cats, Gustav, Gracie, and Gertie. And I'm looking to the side because Gracie's in that window and Gertie's in that window. The lighting in here is, I think there's something, I need to fix something with the smart bulbs. It's a little dull in here, so I needed to bring in some natural light. So I thought it was supposed to rain all day today, but it looks like maybe not. So today is Sunday, September 7th, which means that yes, I took a shower, I put on sort of real clothes and makeup to record this today. When I say makeup, I mean clear mascara and brow gel because I have my brows and lashes done because I hate putting on eye makeup. So I just have it done for me semi-permanently. And this is, it's a lip, what the hell are they called? Liner? Lip liner? It's a lip pencil. It's a lip crayon that I just use as lipstick because I know nothing about makeup. But my boss, who's also a very good friend of mine, says you should always have color on your lips if you're going to be recorded. So why not? Anyway, we're already off the rails. I have notes to try to prevent that from happening, but we're off to a great start. It has been a little over a month since my last episode, which was on July 30th. So the entire month of August has come and gone. And it was pretty quiet. Excuse me. Ugh. I have not finished my coffee yet today because it's in my Yeti, which means it is the temperature of the surface of the sun. And it has been too hot to drink since I made it like an hour ago. But yeah, it's Sunday and I'm going to try and get this recorded before, probably won't finish before the Phillies game starts, but we have it recording. So we'll have a little bit of a buffer and can fast forward commercials. So what's been going on? I work for school. I work in school communications. So we did have our beginning of the school year. The students started back. I think it's been 2 weeks now, actually. And before that, we had our big, beginning of the school year professional development, which I was a bigger part of this year, helping planning and creating materials for that. So that was exciting, a little stressful, but mostly exciting. We had a really great Sunday with my family at my uncle's house. Once a year, he orders like a bushel of crabs and cooks them in a keg with Old Bay, and my mom makes crab spaghetti, and we just have a good time together. So that was really nice. Brent and I did make it to a Phillies game like 2 weeks ago, maybe. It was a really good game. They were playing, I don't remember who we were playing, but it went into 10 innings and we won in the bottom of the 10th with a walk-off win. We got to see Duran pitch and his, big intro when he comes in. So that was really fun. I think I'm gonna have to pause this and go blow my nose. So much for no editing. All right, where was I? And then probably the most exciting thing that happened in the last month plus a week was we went to see Rilo Kiley. And Rilo Kiley is a band, if you're not familiar, they are a band that I think their first album came out in 98. So I was a junior in high school in 98. And then they released several more albums. So they overlapped heavily with my undergrad college days. And I don't even remember how I first heard them, probably from my LiveJournal friends who are real friends now, but probably. And I've been listening to them ever since, but I never saw them live. And they have come back together, reunited for a tour. It's called the Sometimes When You're On, You're Really Fucking On tour. And I love them so much. So got to go see them play at the Met in Philly, and it was just a really special evening, and I'm so glad that we were able to make that work. We had to buy tickets from someone because I just apparently live under a rock and I never know anything that's happening. So thank you to people who were selling their tickets for not too much over probably what they paid for them. Anyway, so we're gonna jump right in to FOs. So I've got a pile here next to me. So first up, these are my finished Starfall Socks, and I'm calling them that because the sock set is from Kate of Red Door Fiber, and it was it's the Starfall colorway sock set. So I just did toe up. I did a 3x1 rib on the top of the foot, and then for the leg, I did the 3x1 rib all the way around. This is a gusset and heel flap, so the toe up version. So it's just the reverse of the cuff down heel flap and gusset. You do the gusset first, and then the heel flap. And then at the very top, I just added the contrast color in for like 2 rows or something, and the bind off. And it's just a stretchy bind off. So these are done. I love these colors, the little pops of bright green, and then there's also this like really like kind of muted shade of blue that comes up every now and then, and it's just so pretty. I don't know if you can see all the colors, but oh. Fun fact about these socks, if I can find my phone, I cast these on in 2024 when I was in Seattle for the 2024 Flock Fiber Festival. So I actually started these on August 7th of 2024 in my Airbnb right around the corner from the convention center. And I finished them on August 3rd of this year. So almost a year that I kind of had these in the background and just picked up every now and then. So they fit perfectly. They will go in the drawer now, just in time for cooler weather and wearing socks. I really only wear socks at home. I don't wear socks with shoes. I don't like the feeling of socks and shoes, unless it's like, you know, dead of winter and I'm wearing snow boots. And I don't wear socks to sleep. So I only wear them during the day around the house, and only when I'm like really cold. So they don't get a ton of wear, but they are the most comfortable. The socks I make for myself are hands down more comfortable than any socks I've ever purchased. So that's the first one. And then I have a project that's actually being shipped out tomorrow back to Coley of Paisley Knits. It's the Middle Earth Adventure Socks by Claire Jackson, who is perfectly knotted. I can put a black and white photo of the finished socks here. They are a sample knit for the next Paisley Knits collection. And this yarn was gorgeous. The colors are so good. I can't wait for everybody to see them and to be able to share photos on Instagram in color. The pattern, the Middle Earth Adventure Socks pattern, is really neat. It's cuffed down, first of all, which I normally don't do, but when I'm sample knitting, I just follow the directions exactly. And it's a very long ribbing section because you fold the cuff over. And then the toes, they are anatomical toes. So the left toe and the right toe are actually done differently, and the increases happen differently on each side to mimic, you know how your big toe is like relatively like straight up, but then like with your pinky toe, like your foot slants more on that side. So I'm not explaining it very well, but it was really cool. and it fits really neat. I might try, I'm trying to think how that would work if I did toe up. Like, I could probably figure it out. But maybe I'll try it on another pair of socks. So those are my two sock FOs. And then I have two that I just did like finishing touches on. So I've shown this before. This is my Snuggle is Real Cow, which is a pattern by Maxim Max the Knitter. This is the squishiest thing I think I have ever made. It is DK weight yarn. The two main colors, the DK, are from Craft Me Not Fiber Co., who is actually local to me. She is a southeastern Pennsylvania dyer. These colors are from her Winter Conservatory box, I think from 2023. And then inside, what makes this so squishy is you do a lining with lace, like fluffy yarn. So I used Woolberry Fiber Co. Surrey. This is the old Surrey base. So the one that has like 328 yards. In the colorway Green Gables from and my phone is talking to me because I said Surrey. Oh, jeez. Does that happen to anyone else when you say Surrey, like you're talking about Surrey alpaca yarn and your comes on instead? Yeah, so this is Green Gables from the Anne of Green Gables collection. And then for the I-cord, I used 8 strands of also Woolberry Fiber Co., but her new Surrey alpaca base in the colorway Fresh Eucalyptus. So it is now officially done with the drawstring, which is just so fun. I'm not gonna put it on because my hair is already frizzy enough, and but it is just like on a really cold day, this is gonna be amazing. And Brent has already asked for one for himself, so that is done. Oh, also I forgot to mention I am wearing, usually I'm not wearing knitwear in my podcasts because I don't have a lot of knit garments, but I am wearing my Haiku Cardi, which I knit in Plymouth Sea Isle. I think that's the name of the base. It's a mix of merino and cotton. Like, I think it's a 50-50 blend. This has been super great for just throwing on during the workday because my office gets very chilly when the AC is pumping through the rest of the house. And another one that got some finishing touches is Brent's Rough Edges cardigan. The ends have all been woven in and the buttons are on. So I knit the pockets for this and he told me he does not want them. He loves it as is and he does not want me to add the pockets. So I will keep them in case he changes his mind someday. But because he doesn't want the pockets, this is officially done. I have pictures of him wearing it, so I'll put them here. He loves it. It looks so good on him. This was a labor of love. This is the Rough Edges cardigan by Hanson of Knit Spot. I knit mine with Barocco Ultra Wool, and it took a while because I kept, not because the actual knitting took a long time, but I just kept getting anxious about each like next step because this is knit bottom up in pieces and then you seam it together. So my first ever like real garment, this is a real garment, but it's like basically you knit like a shawl and connect it to make sleeve holes and pick up and do the bottom. This required like serious like construction. So you knit it from the bottom up, you seam it, you block it first, then you seam it, then you pick up the button band and do the collar, and then you block it again, and then weave in your ends and do the buttons. So there's a lot of like steps, and at each of those steps I put it down until I could work up the nerve to do the next thing. So it's done. It's one of probably my projects that I'm most proudest of. So this is exciting. All right, so that's 4. Okay, I have 2 more FOs. So technically, yes, 6 FOs today. But the next 2 are pretty small. So I, in the middle of knitting all these large garments, needed just something to work on when I needed to put those garments down. And I already have various sock projects going, and I also needed a break from those because the one sock project I'm going to show you in a little bit is pretty intense. So I jumped on the small skinny scarf train. So Stephen West released I think a collection of 3 or 4 small scarves, and one of them is called the Pierre, I'm holding it up backwards, there we go, the Pierre skinny scarf. And so it is going back and forth between seed stitch, twisted ribbing, these triangles that you do with different amounts of pearls and knits, and then also some garter ridges. And it's just those sections repeating. I wanted to use as much yarn as possible, so I actually did an extra increase section, which then also required an extra decrease section. I don't think I have any yarn left. I think it was down to the wire. This might actually, nope, that's where I cast on. Like, this might be all I ended up with. So, and I had to do a little, not math, but had to kind of figure out the additional triangle section, because this doesn't exist in the original pattern, this biggest triangle section that I have. But I knit mine out of Explorer Knits and Fibers, Earthy DK. This is the colorway Fur. It is 100% non-superwash merino, 246 yards. So it feels really nice after blocking. I love the color. I love the texture and how it shows up in these stitches. I'm not sure yet how to wear it because it's funny. On the Skein Scoop podcast this week, Justine was talking about how these scarves don't work if you don't have like a super skinny neck. And I actually was kind of thinking that to myself as I was knitting it, like, how am I really gonna wear this? So, to be determined. If I like them, I'll keep them, and if I don't, I'll give them away as gifts. But they're really fun to work on, so no regrets. So that is the Pierre skinny scarf by Stephen West. And then the second one I did, I had a very special skein of yarn that I purchased at New York Sheep and Wool in 2024 from Clean Cashmere. And this is the Prime Base, which is 50% US Cashmere, 50% US Merino. No, I do not want to talk about how much I paid for one skein of this yarn. The colorway is Sienna. It is a 2-ply sport weight yarn, and you get 160 yards out of one skein. I had no idea what to do with this precious one skein of yarn. So then I started looking at other projects on Ravelry to see what people had done, and not with this base, but with one of the other Clean Cashmere bases. Someone had done a free pattern called an Italian Summer Scarf. I should look up who did that pattern. So an Italian summer scarf is a pattern by an Italian knitter. I don't know their name. I mean, technically I'm an Italian knitter, like a quarter Italian, but I did not design this pattern. I don't know their name, but they are an Italian knitter on all the things. So it's a free pattern. It is just a 10 row repeat. Let me just make sure it is definitely free before I start giving away everything. Yes, free pattern. Okay, so it is a 10 row repeat where you're just doing garter stitch and then you're doing yarn overs and knit 2 togethers to create this lace. This is the colorway Sienna. I am so into this colorway. And I used every bit of this skein of yarn. In fact, I could not even, I measured, I weighed the yarn to get to my halfway point and make sure I had enough to do the end of the scarf, and I still ran out. I was not able to do the end as written in the pattern. I had to do more rapid decreases. This is all that's left of this yarn. I have not even woven this end in yet. That's all that's left. and my cast on tail. So I can say that I truly used up all of this yarn. It feels dreamy. I blocked it very aggressively in terms of length. So this middle section was a little wider, but I really pulled it to get more length out of it. And even then, I still, it's not long on my neck. That's for sure. So if I tie it, I get just a little side knot like that, which actually I don't hate. It's kind of cute. Actually, I think this is kind of better than the other one because, like, I feel like this is short enough that just tying it once looks cute. The other one's kind of like in between, like it's in between tying it once and then wrapping it around another time. So it's a little bit more awkward of a length. I don't know. I think I can make this work. Or it could be like a bandana, or maybe even like a fun headband might be cute. What do we think? Oh, that's kind of cute. I love it. I will figure out how to wear this one. No one is getting this one. Sorry, friends and family. I love you, but this cashmere project is all mine. Really great pattern though. Super easy, memorizable pattern. Really great way to use up some yarn in your stash for a fun little accessory. I actually think I will make a lot more of these, just bigger and longer, because it's a great stash buster. So that's it for FOs. So now let's go on to whips. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 active whips for our knitting. One is cross stitch. I have one project that I've swatched for, and I am trying to figure out what size to make and what needles to use. And then the other whips I have, I did not work on this past month, so we're not going to talk about them. First up, my big cozy Cardi, which I've been working on forever. I finally finished the main body, which is just a gigantic rectangle. You just knit a massive triangle for, I forget how many inches. For my size, I think I'm making the largest size because I want it as oversized as possible. I had to cast on 335 stitches. So it is 335 stitches for ever in this like different like textured pattern. So you're just always doing purls and ribs on every row. So it's a bit of a slog. However, I know I'm gonna love the finished garment, and the yarn that I'm using from Walcott Yarns is incredible. This yarn, especially after blocking, is so soft and drapey. It is 70% Argentinian merino, 30% baby alpaca, 100% awesome. 350 yards, nope, that's meters, 384 yards in a 100 gram skein. And this is the colorway Hickory. So now that I have this rectangle, you make your armholes by doing some seaming, but then you have to go around and pick up for the collar, which is a really big collar, and it's knit with fluffy yarn. So these will become sleeves, and then you also pick up and do like a ribbed cuff on each sleeve. So there's still quite a bit of work to do on this, but it is my goal to be wearing this during Rhinebeck weekend. Probably on Saturday, because Saturday is usually the day where if I'm gonna run into Andrea Mowry, it's gonna be at the fairgrounds and not at the smaller events, because there's so many that happen on Friday. So as long as the weather cooperates, I would really love to wear this on Saturday of Sheep and Wool. Let me grab, this is the yarn I'm using for the collar. So I have this yummy super dark brown with this like ochre goldenrod color. This is Le Garçon Fluff. And actually I think the colorway is goldenrod. Yes, goldenrod. Sport weight yarn, 219 yards in a 50 gram skein. It is 55% baby alpaca, 18% fine merino wool, 17% mulberry silk, 10% yak, and 100% dreamy. So this will be the next step. Hopefully I will have more progress to show on that next time. All right, let's go to cross stitch. So I have started a new cross stitch project. I had actually started it when I did my last podcast, but that episode was already too long, so I did not talk about it. But this is it's a cross stitch kit from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This one is called Adventure Awaits. I will put a photo of what the finished project will look like. But I am, here's where I am. So I've done Africa. I think that is Kilimanjaro. This is the pyramids and the Sphinx, Eiffel Tower, red double-decker bus for London, Leaning Tower of Pisa. This is in the Middle East. Is it, I don't know if it's the UAE or Dubai, I forget. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be Everest. And I'm not exactly sure what some of these other things are, but this has been really fun. So I just picked this up when I need a break from knitting. I keep it up in the living room. And yeah, just work on it when the mood strikes. So that'll be a work in progress for a while, I think. Next whip, in my little Woolens and Nosh 24 Advent bag, I decided, not for a mystery knit along, but I decided to cast on Stephen West's Delectable Collectible Socks. Because I have a lot of mini skeins, and that's only one side. There's more over there. And I had this particular mini skein set that I purchased at the 2022 Woolen Folk. It was a good one. Not the other one. It was the year before that. I purchased this mini set of autumn tonals from Coats & Co. And I've had it since and just haven't known what to do with it. And then I saw I waited until I think Clue 2 had come out, and so I started looking at people's projects, and I was like, I think this will work really nicely with this mini set. The pattern calls for 5 colors. The set I have has 7. I pulled one out and decided to use 6 colors. So these are, that's horrible. You can't even, those are the colors. And here is my progress. So this is sock 1. I'm not doing them at the same time, which I'm probably going to regret immensely. And I'm not exactly following the colors as he says, because I have 6 instead of 5. So I'm kind of just making up my own color order. And I think for the cuff, he does this like wedge cuff with short rows, like back and forth changing colors. I don't love the look of it, and I also don't think I would love the actual act of doing that. So I think I'm going to do solid color cuffs, but I'm going to do a different color for each sock. So they will be cousins. Fraternal twins instead of identical twins. I think that'll be fun. And it will also help to make sure I don't run out of like one color. I am doing a mixture of the Weave and Steven when it makes sense and doesn't like create too much stress for the beginning of the next section. So all of these right here have been woven in using the Weave and Steven. I just have to cut them. And then I have 4 over here that actually still need to be woven in. So because I'm doing that, the ends aren't awful to deal with. If it worked for that technique, I don't know if I would finish this project. But it's been really fun. I am super picky with socks, and I don't like to wear socks. Like, I could never wear these socks in shoes. I know I already said I don't wear socks in shoes, but I could never wear these socks in shoes. They're like almost like leg warmer kind of width, not the cuff, but this, it's like, so it kind of bunches a little bit when I put it on my leg. So I think these are just gonna almost be not slipper socks, because it is fingering weight yarn, but they're just going to be like house socks, which most of my socks are anyway. So that's been fun. Definitely not something that I can work on while doing much else. Definitely requires a lot of attention, and I've been having to watch his videos that he gives you for the different techniques, because a lot of them I have never done before. Probably because I think, he makes up some of these. So very fun, very interesting, but a little tedious. So, all right. What do I want to do next? Okay. In my number 10, number 9, number 10, it's one of them. This is a redesigned project bag that I adore. I purchased this at Loop in Philadelphia during the Philly Yarn Crawl. In here is living my Traveler shell, which I have finally cast on. So I am using Lobby NME Helix in the colorway Vintage Barn, along with Paisley Knits Swimming Surrey in the colorway Live Another Soul, which is a nod to The Martian. And together, they are giving me this fabric. And I love it. So I did my swatch in a US 4, which I believe is what the pattern calls for. And I think you're supposed to have 24 stitches in 4 inches, and I had 22, No, you're supposed to have 22 and I had 24. Yeah. I don't remember. I think I was knitting tighter than her gauge, which never happens. I think I had 24. I think you're supposed to have 22. But I did not really like use that as like math and do like a super scientific like formula to figure out what size to make. Originally I was going to make a size 6 of this because when I went to Yarn Centric in 24, Amy was there of Lobby NMA and had a sample of this in a size 5. And I tried it on. Actually, I have a photo. And obviously too small for me, but like not horribly too small for me. So I originally was planning to do the size 6, but then when I saw that my gauge was coming in a little tighter, I cast on for the size 7. And we'll see how it goes. Here's what I have so far. It is knit bottom up. I have done the 2 inches of ribbing on the bottom, and now I'm just into the pattern repeat. And I think I go until it's 11 inches from the cast on edge. It is showing up brighter and lighter on camera. It is definitely darker and like rustier in person. Like that's a little, it's not that bright in person. But I'm really excited. I'm enjoying working on this a lot. I don't mind purling if it's just all pearls. Like, yes, it's over 300, I think it's 348 stitches. And yes, half of the rows you have to purl those 348 stitches, but I don't mind that. Maybe it's because I'm a thrower, but if I get to do purl an entire row, I'm happy. I love it. I might actually enjoy it more than knitting. Again, I think because I'm a thrower. As long as it's not ribbing and I have to go back and forth, I'm good. So I do not mind purling. So that's my traveler shell. And then the last, not really a whip, but hopefully soon will be a whip. I did a swatch for the Finest Kind by Alicia Plummer. I'm going to make this for Brent. And I did my swatch. Yes. So I used a US 8 for the first half. And then I used a US 7 for the second half. And I really like the fabric of the 7 better than the 8. It's really hard to tell on here, but this is a little bit denser versus this. And the problem I'm having, so that's fine using a 7, but I just am not at all on gauge. You're supposed to have, I'm like way looser than her gauge. So, but then I was looking at other people's finished projects who have done this, and they said that they, like, it blocks very aggressively, like widthwise. And I did not do that when I blocked the swatch. But I also don't know if I want to. I don't want it like really holy. I am using worsted weight yarn. It does call for, I think, Aran weight. I'm using Cascade 220. So the problem I'm having is I like this fabric, but I'm way too loose. So I have no idea what size to do. But Kevin and Ray, one of their recent episodes, they actually showed like the formula they use for that. So when I'm in, having a day where my brain is operating at full capacity and I can handle some math, I will try and figure it out. Color, I love. He picked it out. Again, this is Cascade 220 non-superwash. So I have 10 skeins of this. I'm very excited to make this for him. I love how it looks kind of like from far away. How you can see that texture. Oh, I really like that. So I just got to figure out what size to make him. And then from what I hear, it's a very quick knit. So I'm looking forward to that one. That's not my last whip. I have another one. Speaking of small scarves, once I finished the other two, I was like, I need another one. And I've had my eye on this pattern for quite some time. So this is the Jacques scarf by Laura Penrose. And it uses a combination of intarsia and an I-cord edge and a double knit edge. So my whip right now, I have 3 balls of yarn attached to this, but look how good that is. So I am using, the pattern calls for DK. I am using worsted weight yarn. So I am a little concerned that like it is very dense, but it's got some bounce to it. And I love how squishy the double knit side is. And I think when I block it, it will, not loosen up, but relax and be a little bit more drapey. But this is actually Woolberry Fiber Co.'s Berry Rambouillet worsted base. So it's a 100% non-superwash Rambouillet, 200 yards for 100 grams. So I am using the colorway Cabled Sweater, which I love. I also have a ton of this on tweed sock for a future garment. And then the other color here is Homebody. And it's this lovely lighter blue, but it's got some darker speckles in it. And so her videos for how to do this are very, very user-friendly and very helpful. So even though it's double knit and intarsia, and I've got 3 strands of yarn to manage, I have memorized this pattern and I just cruise along now. I don't even have to look at the pattern. Halfway through, the colors are going to switch. So the main color is going to become the light color and the stripes will become the darker color. So that's where I am now and I am really enjoying it. It's a fun project. So now that's officially all my whips. So we're just going to quickly go through acquisitions. What does that say? None. I bought no yarn or notions or anything knitting related since my last episode aired. However, I did treat myself to a finished product from an artist that I follow on Instagram. Her company is called Painted Sky Textiles. Her name is Adrian Lee. So there, she sent me a lovely card and she does these incredible woven pieces based on national parks and landscapes. And so she did a series of smaller pieces in like old school postcard style, like greetings from, you know. So I got the one for Mount Rainier and I love it. So once I, get my together to plan out what I'm gonna put on this wall, this will definitely be going up there. So that's my only acquisition this month. It's really not an acquisition. It's a home purchase. Oh, I love it so much. Like, look at these, like the bigger pieces up here, how she did the reflection. And this is super fun. Like she sewed this on. Just love everything about it. And it's ready to hang. So thank you, Adrian. I love it. I'm so glad to finally have one of your pieces in my house. All right, I lost my notes. Oh no. I found my notes. Okay. Last things. Next episodes. There are a few special episodes that I really want to do that won't be typical project update type podcasts. I just have to figure out when I'm going to do them. And I have two. First is one about spinning, because yes, I've finally learned how to use my e-spinner. It came with 6 bobbins. All 6 bobbins are full. I now need to figure out a Lazy Kate situation. The Lazy Kate that Dreaming Robots makes is out of stock. So I either have to purchase another one or just kind of DIY one. Some people have sent me a few ideas, but I'm also going to have to order more bobbins so I have something to ply onto. And then of course I need to learn how to ply. Spinning has been humbling. Lots of opportunity for to practice that growth mindset. It was very hard at first. Thankfully, Kevin from Needles at the Ready sent me a few messages, gave me a few tips that just made like everything kind of click. Once I started practicing the things that he suggested, by no means perfect, like far from it, of course. However, pretty darn good for just getting started. Like, I'm so excited. So I want to do an episode talking about that and sharing what I've done so far on the e-spinner. I also want to do a big stash reorganization, because let's see if I can move this. I use this big IKEA Collects system, and I'm really actually like thrilled with it. Like, I have all the different inserts. I've got the X's, I've got the horizontal shelves, I've got the drawers where I keep notions and needles, I've got the little I can't reach that far over here, the skinny shelves where I keep all my mini skeins. So I want to do a video kind of sharing how I put all that together, but in the process of doing that, I want to reorganize my stash. Instead of by weight and type, I want to organize it by project. I think that'll really help me kind of keep track and make good choices on what I want to knit next, and really keep up. I've been doing a really good job of knitting from stash this year, and I think that'll help me continue to do so, because I have some larger sweater quantities that don't fit up there and they're in other places, and sometimes I forget about them. So I want to do a whole stash reorganization, and I think that would be a fun video to kind of talk about how I planned like this system and then how I'm going to reorganize it. So if you had a choice which one I did first, the spinning video or the stash video, what would your choice be? Knowing that the fact that I don't have more bobbins or a Lazy Kate yet may necessitate me starting with a stash video. So you may not actually get a choice. But if you had a choice, what would you pick? And then finally, the last thing I have for today, last episode, I talked about these needles that I bought in Montana or Wyoming. I forget which state, because I didn't have the right size I needed for a project, and I can't stand them. But a lot of people love them. So in my last episode, I said I would mail them out to someone if they wanted them. And out of the comments, one person did say they would want them, and that person is Beth Graves 1194. Beth, I know that you and I also we talk on Instagram, so send me a message on Instagram with your mailing address, and I will get these in the mail to you as soon as I can. All right, we're keeping it under an hour today. So what's going on in the future? October's almost here. So, I'll be at Indie Untangled. I'll be at a woolen affair, and I'll be at New York Sheep and Wool, but I'll talk more about that on my next episode. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching and being here. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like. If you are enjoying these episodes and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I am at 160 subscribers. So let's see if we can get to 200. Let's go for it. And let me know what you're working on, and if you have any questions. So thanks, y'all, and I hope you're having a good day, and I hope that you are enjoying your crafting in whatever form it is. Thanks for being here. Bye.